下一位係鄺仲晴先，女士。
The UGC exemption, user-generated content exemption, is a standalone civil and criminal exemption which requires the derivative work itself to be non-profit making, not in the course of business, not substituting the original work, and do not cause financial impact on market and exploitation. This exemption will catch all forms of creations which parody, satire, caricature, or pastiche, or even works for commenting on current affairs may not include. This can also protect the legitimate interest of the copyright owner, as it requires the work to be non-profit making and not in the course of business. Not only can the UGC exemption protect and encourages the creative industry, but it can also strike a balance in safeguarding the legitimate rights of the copyright owner. Though some may say that it only exists in Canada, and this UGC exemption may not conform to the three-step test and will thus violate the Berne Convention, which is an international obligation the government must obey. Be that as it may, this proposal of UGC imposes stricter requirements than the fair use doctrine adopted by the US, which this exemption confirms to the three-step test, thus so will UGC. Nonetheless, no one single country had filed any complaint to WTO saying that the Canadian UGC exemption violates the Berne Convention. Therefore, this concern must not stand. For the intermediary exemption under the proposed UGC exemption, it is our submission that opposing an individual to authorize the intermediary to use, decimate, or communicate the UGC contents is equal to opposing the right of freedom of expression and freedom of communications of the citizens. Because without a proper platform, the creation will not be able to be delivered to the public. It is true that the parody, caricature, satire, pastiche, and commenting on current affairs exemption can cover various types of derivative works. However, UGC can cover more and most of them on the internet, ranging from Photoshop photos to streaming. Therefore, it is groundless for the government to not accept the user-generated content exemption, and it will not harm the legitimate interests of copyright owner, thus can advocate the creative industry in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you. 下一位係歐家寶女士。